This is one of the questions that was directly addressed to you in terms of given the number of collaborations you have across different groups, how do you manage to keep track of them, like mentally? How do you can manage to do that? Or do you have like a specific organization system or a typical work schedule that keeps things in like sync?
Right. Well, so it does help that typically projects are associated with particular people. So a given grad student would be working only on one or maybe sometimes two projects. So that helps because I know when I'm talking to a particular student that what project they're associated with.
Okay.
I don't have a particular schedule where I say, okay, this day is reserved for this project, this day is reserved for this project. I mean, the demands of different projects sort of ebb and flow. So if a paper is being written and one, then typically there's a lot more to be done on that than maybe on a project that's sort of more exploratory.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm afraid I don't have a sort of very clear system, but it being associated with individual people helps a lot, and also keeping the files and data organized separately helps as well. But I think that's about all in terms of organizing the different projects.
Do you think with experience and time you were able to go into like other projects other than RNA and like proteins and stuff?
So I mean, for example, the fact that I'm now working on DNA origami was something that wasn't the case 10 years ago.
Okay.
So certainly over time, areas of expertise evolve.
Mm-hmm.
There is, of course, the further you get in your career, the harder it is to get into completely different areas because you have to establish that you actually can contribute to something. And that is hard. But, when genomics came around, that was a fairly new field that I got in fairly early on. Okay. So that was a new direction for me. Early in my career, microarrays came out. That's something that I sort of missed the boat on. So yes, over certainly 5 to 10 year periods, what one is working on changes and has changed for me.
I see.
All the time, and it's sort of a balance between finding something that's close enough to what you've done before that people will believe that you'll be able to do something, and yet something that's new enough that it is interesting, and then again with sort of these technological breakthroughs happening, to be on the lookout for things that just weren't possible 10 years ago and that are possible now, and that align with your expertise and capabilities.
I see. It's kind of like a general advice to grad students as well as a question to you about if you could go back to first year grad school to pick a subfield of physics other than your current one, what would it be and why?
Right.
And maybe we can follow up on this with like a general advice to prospective students considering OSU as well as students currently in OSU, as like if you have a general advice for them.
So I mean, which field would I pick right now? I mean, I find the whole quantum information science field super exciting right now. So I think if I was a student right now, this is probably something I would look into quite a bit. Okay. On the other hand, I mean, over the length of a career, I already talked a little bit about how fields ebb and flow. So maybe one shouldn't be putting too much anxiety, at least, into choosing the right field. In the end, I think it comes back to this question of motivation. So what will keep you personally up at night because you want to know the answer, I think is a much more important question than sort of thinking about, well, what will be the most successful field that I can pick out. I think if you are excited about something, then you will be eventually successful in that. But I mean, if you're, I love what I'm doing, the biophysics. I'm not saying I wish I did quantum information, but I mean, that is an example where I currently see that this is a really interesting field. I mean, if you went even further back, I mean, if computer science had been a thing when I was an undergrad, I could even imagine that I might have actually become a computer scientist. It's of course hard to really say without going back. But I mean, what I really find interesting about quantum information is that it's sort of this marriage of computer science and physics in some really interesting way. But in the end, I think everybody has to find their passion, and that's really what's important.
That's true. Is there just to conclude this part, so you think it's mainly motivation that should be pushing you to choose a field over the other, as well as there is also the issue of is there enough funding?
Right.
Enough funding for this part?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I mean, the money cannot be completely ignored.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also something that I learned when I started as a faculty member. So my movement towards the more biological directions was certainly also driven by the ability to find funding. And again, I'm not sad about this. I really like where my path has taken me. So there is certainly some flexibility needed in terms of going where you can find an actual position, where you can find grant funding, and so on and so forth. So it's sort of, I mean, yes, it's a multiple optimization problem to find something where funding is available and that you find interesting.
I see that. Okay, that was the end of the questions.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for your time and for the insightful replies for everything. And yeah, that's it.
Sure, you're welcome.
Thank you.